Welcome to the today's session on the latest mobile operating systems. In today's session, we will be touching on the latest versions of the mobile operating systems because mobile operating systems are in this world since a long time, but the versions of mobile operating systems keep on changing continuously. Sometimes there will be a major revision, sometimes there will be a minor revision. So whenever there is a minor revision, normally there are some bugs are fixed, and in the case of major revision, you can expect good number of features to be added to the new version. As on date, again we have large number of mobile operating systems. We go to some of the most popular mobile operating systems and then examine their features which are latest and their latest versions and the initial versions and what are the benefits we get from using these latest versions of the systems. So some popular mobile operating systems are Android. Basically, the first versions of Android are released in 2008, and since then we are getting these releases continuously, and even in 2019 we have the latest mobile operating system from the Android. All of you must be very well versed with the Android mobile operating system because most of the mobiles they use this particular operating system because it is an open source and you get updates and everything onto your mobile over the air. And the most important reason why it is very popular is that it is open source, and also it is very easy to deploy a mobile app for this particular operating systems so that it is available across the world, whoever are using the Android operating system immediately on their mobile stores, particularly Google Play. In the case of Android, we have the Google Play from where we can install the new apps, we can search for the new apps, and we can install the updates also. Another popular operating system is iOS. iOS first version was released in 2007 and its latest version is in 2019. So that is the latest iOS, and we will be looking at some of its features. And then the final popular operating system is Windows Mobile. There may be other operating systems which are also popular, but in today's lecture we will try to cover these three operating systems which are used exclusively for mobiles as well as other portable devices. Initially, let us look at Android, because this is a very popular mobile operating systems and is available across many brands. The developers of Android are Google, a very famous search engine, and then Open Handset Alliance. So Google and Open Handset Alliance are the people who developed the Android mobile operating system. Now Android mobile operating system, again it is a piece of software and it needs to be written in some programming languages. And in the case of Android, the code was written in Java programming language, C, C++, and there are some more programming languages. So you can just think of many things at this point. Normally you write programs in one programming language as part of your curriculum, whether it is a BCA or an MCA program or even a certificate in information technology or any other program. Normally you learn how to write a algorithm, then how to write a program, and when you are learning how to write a program, normally you learn it using a particular programming language. So you write your programs with using a single language, and later stages you learn using a database management system, and then you will also learn how to connect to the database management system using from the program, and then you will be learning some language constructs of the particular programming language to connect and retrieve the data, update it or put the data, all these things. But one most important thing is Android, which is a software, which is nothing but a program whose length I cannot predict because I do not know, is written in multiple languages. So we should also learn using multiple programming languages within a single program. Now the question arises why a particular programming language needs to be used and another programming language should also be used in the single software. So what are the advantages of using another programming language whose features are available only in it but not in that programming language which was used till then to write? The most important thing is that the versioning. Like you have written an operating system today, not a very big operating system like a Unix or Windows and any other thing, but you have written a small operating systems program let me say as part of a small project or a learning experience. Now, we use some programming language to develop it. At the same time, as we are releasing versions of it, down 10 years, 15 years, that particular programming language which was used a long time may be existing or may not be existing. If existing, it may be in a complete different form. It may not be accepting the earlier program statements. It may not be accepting the earlier coding conventions. Then you may be having new programming languages with new features which are compatible with the new technologies. So, one should be open to use multiple programming languages. Initially, you can start with one, but needs to be future ready, that there is no need for you to rewrite your entire program using another programming language, because time is also important. And when I say time is important, it's not that you who is going to write. Maybe you will be hiring few engineers. So getting the latest skills, software engineers is very difficult. So whatever is existing, if you want to update, you should be in a position to use the same programming language or any other programming language without changing the existing code to the maximum extent possible. Means you can minimize the updates that are needed for the existing program. So one should learn to use multiple programming languages, and I suggest you that you try to write a few programs which will be using multiple programming languages, because the issue is that for a programming language, you have a compiler. When you use multiple programming languages, how you compile? Is it that you will be compiling different modules in different programming languages and then linking them into a single exe file or executable file? All these things you will be learning when you are trying to do something which is not in convention or which is very much different, or trying to do something which others have done and achieved new things. Another thing which I have already said is Android is an open source, and its first version is in the 2008 and its latest version is in 2019. The beauty of Android is that you can get the source from the address that was displayed on the slide, that is android.googlesource.com, and you can also update it to some extent as you need. The same is not possible with every operating system. Some operating systems permit which are open sources, some operating systems do not permit. One most important thing is that when we say open source, it means that you can access the code, the source code. When you are accessing the source code, you can also modify it because you are able to access it. Definitely you can copy it and then make some updates to it or recompile, and then its behavior should be as per your expectations. But at the same time, there are several mobile operating systems which are closed. One is iOS. In the case of closed source, you don't get the code. Even Windows is a closed source. You don't get the code. So since you don't get the code, whatever features are offered, only those features you will be in a position to use. Suppose you want to add a new feature, then you need to study really how to do it, or maybe you have to contact the developer about how to do it, or you can give them some feedback. If it is universally useful, then they may themselves include it in their new releases or new version. And where Android is used, all of us know Android is used in the smartphones. Apart from smartphones, it is also used in the tablets. Then TVs, latest Android TVs are coming. You have a Wi-Fi connection, you can access the net, you can access the apps, and you can run most of the things whatever you are running on your mobile on the TV also. Then also Android operating system is used in the automobiles. Then you have smart watches, and then the beauty of Android operating system is that it's available in more than 100 languages. So in some countries where the language is other than English, the usage of the language is not English in generic, then most probably the Android is supporting them in their native language, such as Chinese. And one thing is that how to update Android operating system. Earlier we have seen updation of operating systems. People connect the cable to their computer and then install it. First of all, they download it onto their computer and then try to update their mobile's operating system by using a cable that is connected from the mobile to the computer. However, nowadays most of you must have already updated your operating systems, or installed and updated once in a while, and it can be done over the air. that is, you just get a prompt saying that the latest update is available. Now it's up to you. But one word of caution is that these operating systems, whenever they are available for installation and updates, they are available across all the devices for which that particular operating system is compatible. So one most important thing is that, first of all, we have to check whether this particular operating system update or installation and update is going to really benefit the device which we are using. So we can go to a search engine and just check whether this particular update has to be put, and have to be installed and updated in your particular device or not. And based on the clues, you can take the step. And updating over the air means basically there will be a central point from where these prompts will be generated, and when you say install, even installation is done from that particular point. So that's the reason why we say it can be updated over the air. So Android, it's a mobile operating system. It's developed by the Google and Open Handset Alliance. Its code is written in the Java programming language, C, C++, as well as some more programming languages. It's an open source. Its first version is in 2008 and the latest version is in 2019. You can download the source code for the operating system and you can update it. Now, let us see a few features of iOS operating system. Most of us must be knowing that iOS is an operating system that runs the iPhone. Along with iPhone, it also runs the iPad as well as some more devices. It is basically developed by the Apple, which is based in the US, and again iOS being a mobile operating system, a piece of software which is nothing but again it's a program. The code is written using C language, C++, Objective-C and Swift. So Swift is a programming language that runs in the Mac environments. So in case you want to run a Swift program, you need to develop it under the Mac operating system, and then you will be able to run it in iPhone or iPad. So the code for this particular iOS itself is written in C, C++, Objective-C, including Swift. And this is a closed source. So closed source means you don't get the source code. You get the operating system, you install it, you update it, and then one can use it. So whenever you have another release, that particular release is prompted. Again we can install it and again we can update it, and of course we can obviously use it once we updated it. But in case we want any particular feature to be updated, or you want your own feature to be included in the iOS, it is not possible because it is a closed source. So its code is not available in public. The first versions of the iOS are released in 2007 and the latest versions are released in the 2019. And in fact, I find the new releases of iOS very frequently, as well as the new major versions. It is again used in the smartphones, tabs, computers and media players. It's available in nearly 40 languages, and again it can be updated over the air as possible in the case of Android. And the homepage for this particular operating system is part of the Apple's homepage, which is apple.com/iOS. So this is a brief about the iOS and Android, and let us learn some the features of Android latest operating system. When I say latest operating system, I am speaking about the latest version of Android, because Android is available since a long time. But we want to know what is being offered by the latest version of Android operating system. The latest version is Android 10. So in the case of Android 10, what happens is it is not given a name of a dessert. Until now, we know there is an ice cream, there is an Android Pie. You have different names for Android operating systems, and all these are corresponding to some desserts names. But in the case of the latest mobile operating system, it's named as Android 10 and it's released on September 3rd, 2019. But however, when we look at any mobile that is using Android operating system, we find that the operating system that is residing in these mobile phones are Android Pie. Basically, Android Pie is immediate earlier version which was used widely. So after Android Pie, we had Android 10. But however, since Android 10 is released only in the September, I think all devices that are manufactured after a few months after the release date will be having Android 10. Otherwise, most of the devices are having Android Pie. So it is the immediate earlier version which was used widely, and it's also released in August 6, 2018. And in case you find that your device must be compatible with Android 10, one can go to the Android site or even try from their mobile if it is compatible, whether they can download it or not, because there are very rich features with Android 10 available. Now let us see a few important features of Android 10. One is live caption. Live caption means, suppose let me say we are running a video and we want to give some caption. Let me say it is our video or maybe some other video which is permitted to be viewed or to be permitted to be updated. So when we are watching the video, or even we have taken a video, we shot a video and we want to give some captions. So first we shoot it and then we use some package to put captions, add the voiceover and put some coloring scheme and give some time lapses between different frames, all those things. But in the case of Android 10, what happens is, when we are running the video, there itself we can add the caption. There is no need for us to save it separately and again open it using another software like a Scoompa or any Adobe product which is appropriate. So all those things. But in the operating system itself, when you run the video, you get options to add captions. So that's going to be very big feature from my perspective, because you will be able to readily deploy your videos without again opening them in another piece of software and then do some editing by putting all those things. So live caption is one. Then another thing is smart reply. In the case of smart reply, what happens is that whenever we receive any message on a device which is using the Android 10, you also get expected responses from you. So we can select the right response so that we don't need to type it. For example, let me say that, shall we go for a film today? There is a message. So when that message comes, and once you open the message, there is no need for you to explicitly reply. Some appropriate reply will be available there only in case you want to update it or you want to make another addition, you have to change it. Otherwise, there will be a thumbs up visible there. You have to just click on send and it goes. So in one way, we have to say that natural language processing is involved in it. The language is being understood, and some responses that are perfectly in line with the message are being put, and among them, most only one is put. In case interested, we can go with it. So this is the smart reply system. Then we have a sound amplifier. In the case of sound amplifier, we find a lot of mobile devices having a very low volume. So sometimes people use the Bluetooth speaker, sometimes people use the earphones or wireless headphones and some other devices to amplify the sound. But in the case of sound amplifier, what happens is that we can boost the sound, we can filter the background noise, and we can fine tune. You have the gesture navigation also. And in the case of sound amplifier, we have boost sound, filter background noise, and fine tune. In the case of boost sound, what happens is that the volume is boosted, that is increased. In the case of filter background noise, any other sound that is coming, that is not part of the original video or audio, that will be filtered out. For example, let me say that you are shooting a video of a lecture in the open, and some orchestra is going on somewhere else, and that is also getting included in the recording. So that is called background noise, which can be easily filtered out using the sound amplifier facility of the Android 10 mobile operating system. And another is fine tune. So you will be able to fine tune different tunes of this particular audio that is streaming in. Now in the case of background noise, one important thing is that when we wear headphones, this background noise can be filtered out in Android 10 operating system very effectively. Another is gesture navigation. In the case of gesture navigation, there is no need for us to tap at particular points in the keyboard. However, we can directly tap on the screen with different gestures so that the things that are to be opened will be opened. For example, let me say there is a photo. An image is being displayed on the mobile. When we tap on that particular image at a particular place, all the photos will be displayed. Until now, what we do, normally the image will come and then we go back. So we are taken to the gallery or we are taken to that appropriate directory from where we open the image. Now, once you open the image and tap it, it automatically takes you to the earlier place. There is no need for you to go back. So that is one example of the gesture navigation. And in the case of maps and other utilities also, as well as other important apps also, gesture navigation has come into the force, and these new gestures have been included into the Android 10 so that with simple swiping or pulling, we can go for several options on the display. Another is dark theme. So it is possible that we blacken the screen background, so the true black will enable the battery life a bit longer. So in case our the battery is discharging fast or draining out fast, then it's possible for us to increase the life of the battery by using the dark theme. So it is not essential that we have the dark theme from initial time itself, but when we are running out of the charge, it is possible that we switch to the dark theme so that we save some of the battery time. The another thing is that some of the devices, they support 5G, and also Android 10 supports foldable devices. In this case, we will be having the new game-changing devices wherein for foldable phones, foldable screens, the apps are different. Not everything, but there will be some specialized apps wherein you get a more clarity when you unfold. So this particular Android 10 mobile operating system also runs very effectively on the foldable devices as well as 5G enabled devices. So there are some more highlights of the Android 10 mobile operating system. Next session, we will be continuing from here. We'll also be going through highlights of the iOS as well as Windows mobile operating system. Thank you very much.